I'm going to show you how to add and configure a security test component to your existing test. To do this, we go to the test component box and click the Add New button. Scroll down to the security test component, select it and click the Select button. At this stage, I could use a template if there was a pre-canned or previously saved template for me to use. However, I don't wish to do that, so I'm going to click the Create button to create the test component from scratch. I now want to click on the name of the test component so that I can edit it. The first thing I need to do is delete the default tags and assign the client and server tags appropriately. We can now move our attention to the right hand window and see how we can configure the rest of the test component. If you hover your mouse over the name of the parameter, you will get a description of the parameter and how it should be configured. The strike list is the mix of security strikes that you want to put through your security device to see what its detection rate is. If I was to click the Browse button, I now have access to all the pre-canned and previously saved strike lists. What I want to do is have a security strike that's based on 2014 CVE reference numbers. In order to create my own strike list, I need to navigate to the Managers drop-down and select Strike List. And this is the strike list GUI. So I can see all the previously saved or pre-canned strike lists. However, I need to create a new one. I'm going to give it a name that's meaningful, so I will call it CVE 2014 and click the OK button. Now I need to add strikes. So I click the Add Strike button, and I now need to define some search criteria that's going to narrow down the CVE 2014 reference numbers from the 36,000 plus security strikes that I have available to use. To do this, I'm going to use the Advanced drop-down, and I'm going to firstly choose CVE as a reference, and you will notice that this puts syntax into the search bar for me. So if I now specify 2014 in the year box, I now have a suitable search criteria. So I click the Search button and collapse the Advanced tab, and now I can see that I have 189 security strikes that match this search criteria. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to click the Add All button, confirm that, and now I will click the Save button. So if I go to my previously saved test, and go into the security test component to edit it as before, I should now have a strike list called CVE 2014 available to me. There it is, I select it, and now I'm good to go. One other thing I wanted to discuss with you is the evasion profile. So on the BreakingPoint, we have the ability to create evasion profiles. If I click the Edit button, we can now see what the default evasion settings are, and should I wish to make changes to that, I can go ahead and override any of those settings to create an evasion technique to try and get my security strike through that security device undetected. For the purposes of this demo, stick to the default evasion settings. I do want to specify a random seed, So this means that the data is created from a predefined seeded value that I now define. Click Return to the test workspace. They are, so I click the Run button. As we saw on previous runs, we have the same runtime screen with the same progress bar along the top. In this particular case, we're likely to be concerned about what we can see in the Attacks tab. So if we select the Attacks tab and look in the left-hand side, we can see that we have a graph showing the number of security attacks, and the 189 strikes that we put together in our strike list are listed here, and as we go through them we can see the total adding up there. At this stage I'm going to stop the test.